In this video, I'm going to share a live training I did for a group of business owners all about Google Demand Gen ads. First, I'm going to explain what Demand Gen ads actually are, and then I'm going to walk you step by step through creating a new Demand Gen ad campaign from scratch. And this is not just here's how to set it up and get it running. No, I'm actually going to show you how to set it up so that it works, so that it gets leads, it gets sales, and ultimately it's making you a lot more money than you're spending on the ad costs. This is exactly the same setup that I'm using right now to run ads for Andy Elliott for his new offer, and I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars of my own money on ads using this exact same method. So it is tried and tested, and if you have a decent offer, it absolutely prints money. So without further ado, enjoy the training. The way that YouTube ads used to work is called a video action campaign, and it was just a YouTube ads. That's it. It was just YouTube ads was its own thing in Google. It's its own ad category. Well, now that doesn't exist anymore, or at least it won't exist very soon. And now what they have instead is called Demand Gen ads. Demand Gen is YouTube ads, but it also has some other stuff mixed in. It's YouTube ads plus Gmail ads. If you ever notice, if you use Gmail, you see sometimes you'll see a line that looks like an email, but it says ad beside it. Those are Gmail ads. And then there's also Google display ads, which are like picture ads that come up in, I think, on Google, like Google Pages and maybe other pages too. I don't know. I don't ever use them. So I was kind of annoyed when they told me, when I first heard that they were going to get rid of the video action campaigns and they're just going to lump everything together in Demand Gen, because I don't want to run Gmail ads. I don't want to run the stupid display ads. Like I have no desire to do that. And they're making you put it together in the same campaign. It's like, I want to run YouTube ads because I figured out how to run YouTube ads. I get great results from YouTube ads. I don't know anything about Gmail ads. It's probably just a giant waste of money. So I was kind of annoyed about that until when they actually rolled it out. Then they give you the option where you can choose where you want your ads to show. So you run a Demand Gen campaign, and instead of having to show it on all the different platforms that are possible under Demand Gen, you can pick and choose. No, I only want to show it on YouTube, or I only want to show it on Gmail, or I want to show it on both. Like, you can choose, which is actually really cool. And in fact, now I like Demand Gen better than the old video action campaigns. It actually gives you more control than you had before. So that's really the only difference. The way that it's laid out is a bit different too, and I'm going to get into that here. So I'll show you how to set up every part of the Demand Gen campaign here. So if I go over to my campaigns view, which this is kind of the default view, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through from the beginning how to set up a Demand Gen campaign here. So I press the little plus icon to create a new campaign. New campaign. And then here's where I get to choose my sales, my leads, or my website traffic. I won't make you sit through that whole spiel again, but depends on what you're promoting, well, like what you're advertising. For me, usually 9 times out of 10, I'll use leads. Leads is the best optimization for me, but it might be different for you. Depends on your business. And then use these conversion goals. So it kind of suggests some conversion goals that you ought to be targeting, but I almost always use my own custom conversion goals. So I'm going to add a goal of, let's see, I'm going to say this one, gas, call, and sale only. I'm going to remove all these other ones. What this is I have set up a goal set, like specific actions that I want to happen. And so this is relevant to my funnel. So in this case, my funnel is that you click on the ad, you go to an opt-in page, you fill out your information on the opt-in page, at which point you become a lead, and then you watch a video, and then if you would like to work with me further, then you'll click on an apply button, you'll fill out an application, you'll book a call with me, and then you will, oh, actually, I take it back. This one I'm doing a little bit differently. This one, you click on the ad, you go directly to watching the video, and then you can apply and book a call with me. And so the call, like book call action, is one of the 2 conversion actions that I am that I'm targeting here, that I'm optimizing for, and the other one is the actual sale. So I want to optimize for both calls and sales. It's called a goal set. It's because I'm using two different actions, multiple different actions in my funnel is what I'm optimizing for. I'm telling the algorithm, this is what is important to me. So please find me calls and sales at the lowest price possible. Hit continue. Okay, so here's where you get to choose demand gen. So they still have video. It's still an option. They said they would have gotten rid of it by now, but they haven't. So, who knows if that's going to stay or if that's going to get gotten rid of. But anyway, we're going to go with demand gen here and hit continue. And I will start new because I got a bunch of unsaved drafts there. And first thing is the campaign name. This is important if you run a bunch of campaigns like I do, because it can get really confusing if you don't give them good names. So I'm going to say, I like to name it this way. I like to name it my product. Usually it's an abbreviation. And then the name of the video that I'm going to use. And I got the video up here. It's called I'll Beat Your Facebook Ads ROAS Using YouTube Ads Guaranteed. And I have too many tabs here. So let's say Beat FB Ads ROAS. So that'll be the name of my ad. And then I'm going to put the name of the audience that I'm targeting, which I actually don't know off the top of my head. I'm going to go kind of figure that out. So I'll put a little question mark and I'll remember to come back here and rename it later. Okay, so conversion goals is already set up. That's the goal set that I told it to use. And I always use conversions here. And then put your budget, whatever that is, whatever you're going to spend per day. I'll put $10 to start. I like to start with nice small budgets because it's low risk and I can see what's going on. Like, are people clicking on this thing? Are people opting in? Before I go and spend a whole lot of money on it. And then I'll just leave all that as is. Okay, for my locations, these days I'm doing United States. This will depend on who you want to target, like who you want to be your customers. So for me, business owners in the United States works pretty well. I used to do US and Canada, but I've noticed that Canadians just don't really seem to be doing that well economically these days. So unfortunately, I've been excluding Canada and just putting US. And then, I could include like Australia, or I could include UK or Europe, but the time zone difference is so drastic that it's just not really worth the effort for me. And there's plenty of people in the United States. Now, obviously, if you have a local business or if you're only licensed within your state or something like that, then you can enter another location. And that could be within your local area, could be your state, could be zip codes, could be like DMA areas, whatever. Languages, I almost never fill that out. It pretty much figures out that it's in English. I mean, it transcribes everything. Like, the AI is smart. They really don't even need to have that anymore. Okay, this is important. The channels. Where do you want your ads to show? As I was saying, I was under the impression in the past that they were going to force you to use all channels, but no, in fact, you can click Let Me Choose instead. And this shows all of the different options that you got. So you got YouTube. You got 3 different types of YouTube ads that you can choose between. You have Discover, Gmail, and Google Display Network. Google Display Network is like Google Partners, where you show up on other websites that are not YouTube or not Google. And this is just garbage, like ad inventory in my experience. You want to avoid Google Display Network like the plague, in my opinion. Gmail and Discover, probably you can get results with that if you know how to do it, but it's not my thing. YouTube ads is my thing, so I uncheck those. And then my ads, I always like to do my ads horizontal, and I do them long-ish, usually 1.5 minutes minimum, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense with YouTube Shorts, so I'll usually uncheck that. What this leaves are 2 options, YouTube in-stream and YouTube in-feed. In-stream, are the ads that everybody hates that are the ones that pop up before or during or after the video that you were watching on YouTube. Now, despite the fact that everybody hates these ads, they're also the best ads on YouTube. Like, they perform so well. They're amazing if you do it right. Because, of course, you know, you're interrupting somebody, you're popping up, nobody wants to see your ad, and you have 5 seconds before they're allowed to skip. So you better make a good case in those 5 seconds for why they should continue watching your ad and why they stand to benefit more from watching your ad than from watching the thing that they actually wanted to watch. Super important. But anyway, if you get it right, YouTube in-stream are the greatest thing in the world, like in terms of advertising. I also do in-feed. I think in-feed are not as effective, but they're not bad. What a YouTube in-feed ad is they're ads that show up when you're scrolling through YouTube videos, looking for what to watch, like you're browsing through videos. You have an ad that comes up that kind of looks like a video. It has a thumbnail and it has a title, and you can click on that instead of clicking on a video. I like to include these in part just because the in-stream ads are has less of an audience because there are people that pay for YouTube Premium. What YouTube Premium is a service where you can pay, like, I don't know how much it is, like 10 or 20 bucks a month, and you don't get any in-stream ads that are interrupting your videos. So a certain percentage of your population are going to be using that YouTube Premium, and they're never going to see your ads if you just do in-stream. So that's why I like to do in-feed as well, even though, in my opinion, they're not as powerful as the in-stream ads. Okay, next part, audience. This is who do you actually want to see your ads? This is pretty important. And I'm going to go and add, I'll just do a new audience just so you can kind of see how it works. Although I've got a bunch of saved audiences that work pretty well. There are a bunch of different targeting options that you can use here. You can use custom segments, which is kind of you're defining the audience for yourself. You can do a lookalike segment, which means you can take people that are similar to a certain list. Like if you have a list of leads or a list of customers, then you can upload that and you can create a similar segment of people. Interest and detailed demographics. I really like this one sometimes. These are audiences that are already predefined by Google. And so usually I'll start here when I'm building some new audiences. I just see what do they have that's already available for me. So maybe I'll browse, and I really like in market. In market means that they're looking for a certain thing. So if you offer the thing that people are looking for to the people that are looking for it, well, that's your lowest hanging fruit. Those are the people that are most likely to buy because they're already looking for it. And of course, Google knows that, because where does everybody look for stuff? Well, Google. So I can go through like what in-market segments there are. And for me, I have a business service, right? I'm running ads for businesses, or I'm consulting people on how to run ads or how to get clients, right? All of that, everything that I do falls under the heading of business services. So I could just check that, business services in general, or I could dial into this a little bit and look at more granularly what type of business services. Well, look at that, advertising and marketing services. Guess what I am? An advertising and marketing service. So it's right there. And I can even drill into that even further. And they have email marketing services or SEO and SEM services, neither of which really fit exactly what I do. So probably this one's going to be a really good fit for me if I want to do that. And then of course you can browse through this, or you can search for, like, I'm about to start running ads for a guy that does guitar programs. So if I want to search for like guitar, see if anything comes up. Okay, so I got people that are currently looking for guitars and guitar accessories. That's not bad. They have, ideally, I'd like somebody that's looking for guitar lessons. which I don't see that exactly, but people who are looking to buy guitars and guitar accessories might be a decent audience, because obviously they're interested in guitar, and the fact that they're in market, that they're looking to buy stuff, means that they have money that they can spend. So maybe I would do that, right? So you can search through here, you can look at what all options are available and see what you can find. Now, what you can also do is create a custom segment, which is where you define for yourself an audience based on keywords. So if I go to like people who searched for any of these terms on Google, I can search for guitar lessons and guitar lessons near me. And let's say online guitar lessons, guitar teacher, etc. I'm not going to use any of these. It's just an example. So it tells me that I've got 10 million to 50 million weekly impressions. So this is a significant size audience, and I can target people that are actually searching for these things in Google. If you're doing online guitar lessons, do you think that a good audience to target would be people that are searching for, let's say, online guitar lessons? It's kind of obvious. So this is why YouTube ads are so amazing, and just like beat the pants off of Facebook ads and all these other platforms that have no idea what people are actually looking for. They know what you're interested in. Like, they know if you're a guitar player and you like guitar stuff, probably because you're liking stuff on Facebook that's about guitars, but they don't know that you're currently looking right now for online guitar lessons. Anyway, I could go into more detail on this, and I do have videos on my channel that go into more detail on this, but I could spend a lot of time on this. So I'm going to, I'm going to give it a name. So I'll just say, what did I say? Advertising and marketing services. In market. So I use in market ad services. And then another part actually that I should show you is demographics, because there's part of this is really important. Depending on who you are, not necessarily. So if you sell women's clothing, for example, you probably want to only check female. You don't want male, and maybe you check unknown. So unknown is like people that are browsing on a private browser, and Google doesn't know who they are. They could be a man, could be a woman. They have no idea. So, but for me, I'm just going to check both. And then age range, usually like, I don't think I really want to sell to teenagers. So maybe I'll start with 25, but I'm not super picky about the age. The one that I am picky about is under additional demographics. If you're selling stuff for parents, like obviously you want to sell to parents. Household income is the one that I care about most. So for my service, for example, I want to target business owners, and I don't want to target people that are like trying to sell an ebook online and have only sold one copy to their mom, and that's all they've done. I want to sell it to business owners that at least have some level of cash flow. And most of those people are going to be in the top 10 or at least the top 20% of income earners. So I'm going to put like top 10 to top 20% here. And then I'm going to uncheck unknown. What happens, why this one is so important, and this is like the most important, especially if you sell something that's higher ticket where not everybody can afford it. The reason this is important is because when we're optimizing for something like leads, what optimizing means is we're telling the algorithm to find us the people that will be the lowest price possible leads. Now, the lowest price leads are the way the pricing works is it's kind of an auction. It's competitive. The more people want to target somebody, the higher it is. Like the more advertisers want to target a particular audience, the more you're going to have to pay to show your ads to that audience. The fewer advertisers want to show ads to an audience, the less that you're going to have to pay for that audience. Now, do you think advertisers overall, on average, prefer to sell to rich people or poor people? Well, in general, people rather sell to rich people because rich people have money and they can buy stuff. Selling to poor people is difficult. So what that means is it costs more money to show your ads to rich people than it does to poor people. And because of that, the optimization is going to notice that, hey, if I show all of the ads to poor people, I'm going to get a lower cost than if I show all the ads to rich people. And so if you do not select this, you're going to find that the vast majority of your ad spend is going to people that are in the bottom 50%. The way that it breaks this out, you have your lower 50%. The vast majority is going to go to the bottom 50% or unknown. If you check unknown, if you have like top 10 to top 20%, but you also check on unknown, the vast majority of your ad spend is going to go to the unknown people, which, again, if you have a high ticket product, that's bad news. You don't want that. So I'm going to save that. So I'm going to put that in the audience name too. So I did in-market ad services, and I'll say top 20% income because I'm stacking it. It's like I want people that are looking for advertising and marketing services and who are also in the top 20% of income earners. And then I'll click save. Now my audience is ready. Okay, now my favorite setting of all time, he says sarcastically, optimized targeting. What optimized targeting is saying, hey, you know how you just set all this stuff? You told me like what, this is the algorithm saying, or the ad platform saying, you know how you set up all these meticulously crafted audiences and told me exactly who you want me to show the ad to? Well, if you click this, then I'm just going to ignore everything that you said and I'm just going to try to figure it out for myself, essentially. So using optimized targeting, if you leave this checked, you're just giving it permission to show it to exactly the people that you don't want to see. And again, this is really, really relevant to the household income part. So if I just told it, I only want to show to the top 10 and 20% or top 20% of income earners, and then I leave this checked, it's going to show all my ad spend to the bottom 50%. Because it's figured out that, hey, I can just ignore this and I can get a lower lead cost. I do not want that. So I'm going to uncheck that. Now, if, on the other hand, you don't really care about income, if you have like a low price product that's targeted to poor people or targeted to any people, and it doesn't really matter how much money they have, then you might want to check this. You might actually get better performance. You'll get a lower cost per lead. Or if you do a sale, like if you sell something up front, you have like an e-com item that you sell immediately instead of getting a lead and going through a whole sales process. If you just sell immediately and you're targeted or you're optimized for sales, then it might make sense to leave this checked because it's going to find the people that are lowest cost per sale. And if that's the case, then it really doesn't matter how much money they have as long as they're willing to buy your thing. Okay, so that's the ad group. And by the way that this is organized is you have a campaign level, an ad group level, and an ad level. I like to keep this simple, and I just have, for my campaign, I have one ad group, and for my ad group, I have one ad. You can have multiple ads per ad group, and you can have multiple ad groups per campaign. I don't ever do that. I just do one, and one. It keeps it nice and easy, and like it's really easy to track that way. Okay, we'll go to our ad here. I'm going to select video ad because, of course, it is a YouTube video. My final URL, this is what I have not prepared yet, so I'm just going to put my dominatethemarketplace.net. This is my just general homepage, and I will update this later. And then video. So this is where I paste the video that I want to run as an ad. Now, to do this, you have to first upload the video to your YouTube channel. It doesn't have to be public. You don't have to just let anybody see it on your channel. And in fact, if you already have a YouTube channel and if you want to separate your ads from your actual organic YouTube channel, you can just create a separate channel, which is what I did. I have this best resources ads, I call it. That's the name of my channel that I run ads from, which is not the same as any of my actual YouTube channels. Okay, so I'm going to get shareable link from, this is my YouTube studio, which is where you can see everything that you've uploaded. I'm going to go back here and I'm just going to copy that video link right in there. And I'm going to, okay, so I have to select a logo. And so this is one of my clients' logos. I'm going to select my own instead. I already have it saved. If you don't have a logo saved, just go to upload and then just upload from your computer. It's one of the new things in Demand Gen. It didn't used to make you upload a logo, but now you have to. Okay. And then this is important, asset optimization. You can give it permission to give you vertical and square versions of your videos. And if you click on show examples, then it well, actually, we'll show examples. It won't show examples for your video, but this is what it looks like. So if you have a horizontal video, which is what I have, and you allow it to do this, then it'll create a vertical version of it. And I'm not entirely convinced that that looks good because they won't show you a preview of what that looks like for you specifically. So I generally leave that one off. And then you also have this option to get shorter versions of your videos, which means that it cuts off part of your video and it kind of like picks and chooses which parts it thinks will perform the best and gets rid of the rest of it. I also do not trust this at all, and so I always turn this off. Maybe it works. I haven't really messed with it, but I've had great results with not having it on. So I'm just going to not fix what ain't broken here. And then now you get to put in your text. This is your, like, if you see here what it looks like. The text doesn't matter a whole lot, so I wouldn't put too much, wouldn't worry about it too much. This is what the ad looks like on in-stream on mobile. Now, you can see it on mobile, on desktop, so on a computer, and you can see it on what it looks like on a TV. Mobile is what most people are going to be coming from these days, so I would always optimize for mobile. This is the most important. Headline is what you're going to see here where it says business name. So for this one, let's say I'll beat your Facebook ads ROAS guaranteed. And that's a little bit too long. So maybe I will just shorten Facebook to FB. Okay, so that's what it looks like. This is the only thing that's relevant to the in-stream ad here is that one headline. And then I can add other variations to that if I want to, and it will figure out, it'll test them and see which one performs the best. For an in-stream ad, it really doesn't matter very much. I'm going to go over here, and then this is an in-feed ad. So these are the ads that show up when you're browsing and you have to click on it to actually watch it. So here is where you have your long headline. And so maybe I'll just make it the same as my short headline because I'll write out Facebook ads ROAS guaranteed. Oh, maybe I say like with YouTube ads. Okay, and it's kind of cut off, like you can't see the guaranteed. So maybe I'll do two variations here. So I'll say I'll beat your Facebook ads ROAS with YouTube ads, or I'll beat your Facebook ads ROAS dash guaranteed. There you go. So now I have two options. It doesn't let me see the second option, it only shows me the first one. But this is what it looks like so far. And then there's a description down below. And I'm going to say, let's see, how do I want to say this? I'll create and run your YouTube ads 100% for you. Okay, period. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. I could add more descriptions if I wanted, but again, I don't think it's super important. Usually I will put a few different variations, but just for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that now. And then call to action text. That is, what are these buttons below here? And particularly this button. So currently it says learn more. This automated means you got a bunch of choices. You can do apply now, book now, buy now, contact us, etc. If you leave it on automated, it means that it's going to kind of figure out for you, and it's going to test variations and see which one works. So I'm going to trust it with that. Like, I trust AI with the kind of the smaller things. If you might have noticed, I don't trust it as much with the bigger things. So I'll trust it with that. And then business name, just whatever is the name of your business. Dominate marketing in my case. And then I will hit go to review. And they are always going to tell me that I should be spending more. That's their recommendation all the time. Oh, you only put $10 daily budget. Let's put $150 instead. I'm going to ignore it, as I ignore pretty much all of Google Ads suggestions, which I actually have a video on that about how Google Ads suggestions will like kill your ad performance. And it's just like, they're awful. They're so bad, at least for, they might be good for big corporate clients, but for small business owners, they're terrible. Anyway, so I'm going to ignore their suggestions, hit publish campaign. And then voila, if I go back to my campaigns view, I can sort through all of these. And oh yeah, I forgot to update the name. So let me edit the name real quick. Instead of having a question mark, my targeting was IM ad services, which is short for in-market advertising services, people that are looking for advertising services. So I can take a look and see at a glance exactly what's going on in this campaign. Okay, it's my YAS product. It's the video that's entitled Beat Facebook Ads ROAS, and it's serving to an audience of people who are in-market ad services. I know all of that without having to dig into the settings of the ad and figure that out. I can just look at the name at a glance, and I know that. So that, my friends, is how to set up a demand gen campaign that gets you excellent results. And I've done this so many times that like it's just down to a science. So how you set it up will vary slightly from business to business, but this general, like if you follow the general principles that I laid out here, it's going to work really, really well for you.